Hello, my name is Anne James. I'm Professor of Data Systems Architecture. I'm going to tell you about our module M25COM, Cloud Computing and Distributed Technologies. So what is cloud computing? Cloud computing is the processing of data remotely on a pool of computing resources. So instead of processing your data on your desktop or on a local server, we're now processing data on a remote pool. So in a way, we're actually centralizing data, because one of the reasons for doing this is to facilitate data sharing and processing sharing. But then on the other hand, some of the technologies that are used in cloud computing are distributed technologies. So on this module, we're going to learn all about the ins and outs of cloud and about distributed computing. Okay, well, there are two types of clouds, actually, private clouds and public clouds. Private clouds are where a company runs its own cloud on its own company intranet, and that facilitates sharing across the company's departments. The other type of cloud is public cloud, where a third-party company runs a cloud and offers services to other companies. And many companies are going down this third-party cloud route now. It saves them having to run their own computing facilities. They can actually hire that and receive it in the form of services from third parties. So on this module, you will learn about private cloud and public cloud. There can actually be hybrids where a company might have a private cloud but actually make some parts of it public. So there's various things to do with data security and privacy that are associated with cloud computing that we will look at on the module. Now, how do we organize the material? Well, one way that I like to think of it is looking at a cloud from the outside or the inside. So looking at it from the outside, we might look at it from the point of view of a company that's using cloud services. So the things that we will look at there are the needs of the company and the types of services it needs to acquire from the cloud. And there are three main categories of services. You can have infrastructure as a service, you can have platform as a service, or software as a service. On the module, we'll look at each of these and see the ins and outs of them. For example, for infrastructure, the company would just be using the actual computers, the hardware perhaps, and the servers and so on, and putting on their own operating system and software. For platform as a service, the companies would actually be using operating systems and some environments provided by the third party, but they might be writing their own applications. And for software as a service, the company might be using ready-made applications, often in the form of web services that are provided by the cloud. So that brings us to another important part in cloud, service-oriented architecture and web services. This new approach in computing does actually facilitate the cloud trend and cloud technology. So we will be looking actually at how one can develop service-oriented systems and how one can use them. So that's looking from the outside of the cloud. And when we go into the cloud, we have to think about how the company providing the cloud can satisfy the needs of all the clients. So here we have to think of things like scalability and the amount of resources we have. Scalability is the idea of how we can expand as needs grow. And that's one of the advantages of cloud services. So to provide scalability, we have clusters of computers that can grow as necessary or shrink as necessary. We also have virtualization, where we can divide a single machine up into a number of virtual machines, and we can offer each virtual machine as a service to a client. And the various pros and cons to do with the organization of the computing infrastructure within the cloud. So we will be looking at these aspects also on the module. So as you can see, there are quite a lot of things that we will learn about on the module. Some of the important things that the cloud must provide is scalability, efficiency, reliability. So all these lead to a term or a concept known as quality of service. So that's another thing that we have to think about when we're providing cloud services. The assessment of the module is 50-50 examination and coursework. The examination will concentrate on the theoretical parts of the module. For the coursework, we will use Cloud Sim, which is a system that simulates a cloud environment, and you will build up a cloud using that approach. And we will look at some of the advantages and disadvantages of cloud through practical means.